another day of uh, stalking, harassment, malicious insults, violations of YouTube's code of conduct and their policies. Um, it's just another day of it. It just keeps going, uh, and the lawsuit's not going away. The lawsuit is getting stronger by the day. It's getting stronger by the day. Every day YouTube doesn't do something about it at this point, I'm pretty sure they're going to regret. There's going to be I mean, at some point when I win, there's going to be an influx of pro se litigants, probably, hopefully. I don't even know, but there's going to be a domino effect because I don't know how many people are going through this, or how many people are being abused like this, how many people are suffering at the hands of YouTube at this point. You know what, YouTube? It is you. It is you. It's you, Tube, not me, Tube. It's actually YouTube. They're advocating for it. They're helping it. They're aiding and abetting it. They're aiding and abetting RICO. What Michael Thompson is doing on his channel is RICO, which is like racketeering. It absolutely is because of the donation scheme. It's absolutely racketeering. And there's a group of you, and that would mean all of you guys would be charged under RICO. You know what? You might think I assume YouTube only puts my videos for people who are trying to hurt me. But so I guess I'm inclined to say you, even though you have no permission to. If any of you who are in that group, the Omni Heiress group, Carrie, the bored housewife, any of you, say anything on here, it's harassment. You all know very vividly that I don't want you talking in the live chat. I don't want to communicate with you. I am hurt by it. I've asked you to stop. Go the fuck away. Go the fuck away. God, here we have another one. Why should I even delete it? Why should I I just got to move it over, I guess. Another day. Oh man. It's like there's the reality of it, and then there's the evil. And how do I know it's evil? Well, let's talk about the book that Michael Thompson wrote in called Piggy. I don't know what year, in 2018. And he also promotes his YouTube channel in the book jacket. Forcing his family to live in cult-like servitude to his violent impulses, billionaire Abraham Arbor, I don't know the name, I guess is what, Abraham, the god of religion, or the father of religion, places himself at the center of their world. Forcing his dark desires, I wonder who those are, and brutal urges on them, purposely exiling them from society on a compound-like manner, void of outside communication. Now, what does that sound like? It sounds like what happens when you get gang stalked. It sounds very similar to the gang stalk video, how to be a gang stalker. Because I remember in that video, Mr. Thompson describes a situation where the person is unable to express what's happening to them, even though it is happening to them, because they will sound crazy. He knows very well what he's doing. It's not going to be there's not going to be this is not going to be this is not a vengeful thing. This is not going to be vengeance. There's not going to be some return punishment on the predators, I guess you would say. There's going to be justice. That's what's going to happen. It's sad. It's just fucking heartbreaking. I mean, I just see these people, and I can see some of them, they're really affected by it. I still am horribly affected by it. And to know that it has continued after I called the police, FBI, and went to federal court, and YouTube still has not done anything, that's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I don't think this is good for anybody. But I can't be gaslit. I can't be confused. I know what happened. I know what is happening. And it's gonna be over soon. And honestly, there's gonna be I can't pray for a RICO charge, and that none of you are allowed to hang out with each other ever again because you're dangerous together. You're dangerous to society. You are. You're all a danger to society. You have no ethics. You have no morality. You incessantly inflict emotional pain, which is called intentional infliction of emotional distress, which I know Mr. Thompson 2 years ago didn't understand was a actual tort, which he probably doesn't even know what a tort is. I mean, uh, he likes to throw around, whatever. It doesn't matter what he does, actually. It matters what he's doing in terms of like, breaking the law and hurting people, but everything else is not important. It's important that that this behavior is just snuffed out, that it's just ended. Ended. Go to 4chan. YouTube has policies against this. I promise you I'm gonna win. I promise YouTube I'm gonna win. I promise the other two. I mean, I don't even think about the other two. The other two, it's done. You're done. It's over. There's like you have no case. You have no case. You didn't present any case. You're not going to be found to have a lack of contacts in California. The victim counts as a contact. Hollywood laughingstock. Why would you call it that? Because I live in Hollywood and am part of a Hollywood community in some fashion. And you acknowledge it all the time. You call me the Hollywood laughingstock. This is an obvious acknowledgement of my residence and location. Not to mention YouTube, which is obviously a California company. Not to mention you've been sued. You are still being sued. It's being filed. Like, it's processing. Do you understand that? It's like pending in state court. It's not ever going to end, ever, until it is resolved. And you're going to see that what you did, and if you look at the analysis by Judge Kronstadt, he lists all of the violations that you have inflicted upon me. And it's a stunning document. It's sickening. It's vile. And he didn't have jurisdiction, so he couldn't if I'm vexatiously suing these people, sue me back. Sue me back. If that's the case, that's not acceptable behavior to vexatiously sue somebody. That's a crime, I think. It's called malicious prosecution. If you need any well, I can't help you because I'm not a lawyer, but I'd love to show you a vexatious malicious prosecution complaint that I found that was filed at Stanley Mosque, a few years ago. That pretty much, it's interesting that this person sued. His name's Eric Wolf, and he sued a family for defamation based on a lie, and they returned and they countersued him, or because he was doing it to abuse them and to leverage them. It had nothing to do with any reality. So I encourage Mr. Holmes or Mr. Thompson to sue me because, frankly, I have done nothing to these people. They are sick in the head. unfortunately, I regret that. I'm sorry. I can only assume that they are sick in the head based on their affinity for abusing others. Abuse, like, it's torture. It's torture. They like torture. They enjoy it. They accept it. They like it. It makes them feel strong. Um, hey, look, like, I mean, it's so fucked up. This platform, this internet service provider, honestly, there are people here that deserve to go to jail themselves. I mean, the fact that they know about this channel and about this activity full well and do nothing is so against their policies that it's fraud, that they've committed fraud. They've committed fraud. I mean, you don't have to be a lawyer to know if somebody's committed fraud. If they've literally said, we don't allow this on our internet service provider, they explicitly wrote up those terms. That was their team. And it's funny because they talk about, like, they're being sued for their content, not the other defendants' content. They're being sued for their own content, which were promises to not abide such conduct. And it's absolutely frustrating. Um, I will win. It's very frustrating. It's very painful. YouTube's lawyer deserves. I don't even know. I don't know how a person can be a lawyer and do this type of thing. I don't know how they can act this way, or um, it's sad. I guess that's litigation privilege, and I think that there is, they're allowed a lot, but I don't think there was any reasonable inquiry into the matter at all on behalf of their lawyer, or them. And if there was, please enlighten us with the results. What did you? Okay, in court, the judge goes, "Did you observe Mr. Thompson's content that Mr. Schultz sent you?" Yeah, yes, we did, Your Honor. And what did you find? Um, well, he was mean, but it was his opinion. It was First Amendment. Okay. Well, then they can go to there's a writ of certiorari. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's from the Supreme Court, and it states that uh, words absolutely can be law breaking. That it's absurd, basically, on its face, to think that just because they're words and people said them, that's free speech. This is a Supreme Court ruling. Okay, so there's like, that's a fact. That's a fact. It was about a cyber stalker. It was about a cyber stalker, actually. Um, Supreme Court, free speech. I think it was, yeah, cyber stalking. Counterman versus Colorado. No, I think that was the guy that got off because he was genuinely, like, not well. Like, he didn't know. That's what they, I think, determined, is that he was essentially insane. Um, and then the media goes and they make it into something that it absolutely isn't. Uh, it was a What was the guy's name? Is this it? This is a First Amendment issue. So it's a serious one. Billy Raymond Counterman. Is this the one that I'm thinking of? The First Amendment does not require a specific intent element for laws that criminalize stalking and other threats. Like, see if you're smiling or in 12 hours, or if you're homeless in 12 hours. Homelessness imminent. Those sound like threats. Threats and stalking are uniquely harmful even among unprotected categories of speech. Stalkers' motives do not determine their dangerousness. And there's a lot of case law here. So this is a Supreme Court decision, just so that you all fucking know. A Supreme Court. You published also violent content of me getting abused on the page, which is in direct violation of YouTube's own conduct and their policies, and they're gonna lose too. I mean, there is no inviolable First Amendment right to engage in a prolonged, objectively terrorizing campaign of stalking against another person. Stalking is a uniquely dangerous form of conduct that provides the clearest possible case for a constitutional rule that general intent, as opposed to a specific intent, is all that is required for the regulation and prosecution of the historically unprotected category of true threats, like homelessness imminent, or you're going to die under a bridge, for example. While stalkers frequently fail to grasp the objective reality of their actions, which is what is happening here, and is so sad, but it still doesn't matter. It's over. It's over. I want you to know that deep in your heart, and I want you to understand what you've done is done. There's no going back. It's done. Your whole little setup, all of you guys are going to be found. Probably, I would not be shocked if all of you were arrested. Now, this will take time. Time is, you have to, it takes time. Time takes time. It's a not the it's not a fun waiting period though. Whilst this capacity for delusion makes them more, not less, dangerous. Michael Thompson's capacity for delusion makes him dangerous. But I don't even think he's deluded. I think he's just, he likes inflicting pain. Stalkers often believe that their victims should welcome rather than fear their attention. That sounds a lot like Mr. Thompson. But the First Amendment does not require objectively terrifying conduct to receive heightened constitutional protection simply because it is based on an unreasonable belief or expectation. Like when I say, "Hey, stop bullying Justin. Do it to me." I had no expectation of the behavior. I had no clue that's what he was actually going through. I saw him in pain. I saw you inflicting it, and I did not know what it meant, and now I do. Um, the First Amendment does not require a specific intent. So, what's Michael Thompson's intent on cyber stalking me? Who fucking cares? He did it. If that's what they're saying, it doesn't matter what the intent was. It doesn't matter if it was it doesn't matter what it was. You did it. It happened. Gregory Holmes, you participated. You continue to participate. Greg, you're going to be found liable too. You also might be prosecuted at some point. Okay? So you have no protection. You have no reliable claim for, I don't know what was happening. You do. It's obvious. Everyone knows. It's obvious. There's witnesses. I have several witnesses, plus an abundance of content. I just wanted to stop so bad. Petitioners, if here the stalker is motivated by the desire to enter, this happened. I think this is actually. I actually don't know what. I don't think this is the one I was looking for, but it is still abiding my ideas and what I'm saying. Yeah, the intent doesn't matter. Um, it makes them dangerous. The fact that they're dangerous is pretty much what matters. A speaker's motivation is entirely irrelevant to the question of constitutional protection. There's no First Amendment protection in what is happening. You guys are terrorists. You are Carrie housewife. You are a domestic terrorist. I'm sorry you feel uncomfortable about that. I know you want to mock me. I'm sure you're gonna mock me. You are. You're a domestic terrorist. You are. Michael, you are a domestic terrorist. Greg, you're a domestic terrorist. You are terrorizing people in this country. Um, Maybe the other person, Carrie, doesn't live in America. The rest of the other two, you guys are domestic terrorists. You're terrorizing Americans. You are. And you're doing it willfully. You're doing it willfully. Um, I wanted to stop. Stop it. Stop it. Apologize. Be contrite and take your punishment. If it wasn't so obvious, we could, I could stand it, maybe. But it's not like there's a big question about what's happening. It's pretty blatant. And that's what makes YouTube so sick. I pray that YouTube gets Google, and I pray that their counsel, their lawyer, I pray that they all understand what they were abiding, what they were protecting, what they've done, how much harm they've caused, how much um, emotional suffering they've caused in their actions, their willful actions, just what, for expansion, to keep growing, to keep making money? What? 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 Why? Why is this something that's so hard to acknowledge? It's hard to I have to walk through the fire here in a bit, as it were, you know? I have to, and I've always been like that. I've always been someone who's willing to sort of say what I think, and if people don't believe in it, that's okay with me. And as a result of actually taking action and suing, I have become very affirmative in my position. Very affirmative. There's no chance this is ever going away. I will appeal this into infinity if it requires that, because that is what is just. It shouldn't require anything more than this state case. It should end here, and then there should be a federal prosecution against Michael Thompson and Gregory Holmes. And that's the next step. That's what I believe should happen. Um, I mean, every single victim is worth protecting. Uh, the pain that I see being inflicted, I mean, is just staggering. Uh, and you know what? To anybody, well, I guess I don't want anyone else to get cyber stalked by these people. I don't know what we're supposed to do other than to call these people out at this point. If you're not willing to do it, you know, you're not really being a friend. You're not really helping. You're just watching. You're just watching. Now, what's his name? This dude, Omni Eris, I suppose. Yeah, Omni Eris is this is an organization. And how do we know that? Well, we see Bucky has a lot of Reamsey, obviously. Gifted times 6. Oh, are you hiding the amount of money that you're donating with some sort of different quantifier? I don't know. How many gifts did Reamsey give in this little this one today? How many people have called the FBI on Mr. Thompson? How many? How many people? How many people have called the police on Mr. Thompson? How many? How many times, Michael, has it happened that you've had the police called on you? Now, I'm not. They didn't. They, and how many times have you called the police on other people? And how many times have you're a liar? Mr. Thompson is a pathological liar. If anybody wants to know Mr. Thompson's soul, I suggest they buy his book. They will see a depraved individual who loves torturing people, loves it. it's gonna come shattering down on a lot of you who have had, I guess you've had jokes about it and you think it's funny. Uh, it's gonna come crumbling down. There's no way it won't. It will. I guarantee it. I know the truth, and I am committed to the truth. The truth is already actually in court. I mean, it's already been filed. It's well established. Mr. Thompson said he looked forward to seeing Mr. Schultz homeless and toothless. How do you think the judge in the state court is gonna think about that in conjunction with all the other stuff? You need to be removed. I mean, this needs to be removed. This needs to be removed. This is such toxic, toxic energy, and it's holding us all back from being happy. And all of you who have abided, Tanya Alamond, you are a co-conspirator. You are I'm going to add you probably. I'm probably going to add you to the lawsuit. You belong in it. You belong in it, Tanya Alamond, whoever you are. Veronica May, and I have your real name, I suppose. You're going to be probably added at this point. It's like now we're at a point where there's been a lawsuit, there's been no change in behavior, no change in conduct. There's been nothing. It's just continued on. There's been some cover up. There's been some deleting of videos that their lawyer probably told you to. You deleted the Odyssey channel, which you probably put up. I don't know. I suppose you put it up during the lawsuit at some point. But you conflicted with my copyright because they overlap. Uh, but you've done it so willfully. Um, and I told you I willfully uploaded your "How to Be a Gang Stalker" video. So I encourage you to get a copyright and fight me on that. I mean, that might help you. They might say I willfully infringed on your copyright, but what's your copyright? Uh, this is how I abuse people on the internet. Now, would you think there might be a fair use in sharing that and saying, look, this is something that people are not seeing? Yes, I do. I do think that there is a fair use argument in uploading the entire video to any channel, and the fact that YouTube so gleefully abides Mr. Thompson's requests and so sickeningly um, denies Mr. Schultz's requests uh, is indicative. And this is going to be before a jury. I mean, YouTube has a reasonable chance, I would say, of not having to go before the jury. Michael Thompson and Gregory Holmes have no chance. They're going before the jury. They've both committed defamation. That's enough to get you general jurisdiction in California. They're going before the jury. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So it's going to stop. It's going to stop. You're going to be literally arraigned. I mean, there's going to be a big judgment. It's going to be a big one too. Because I can't quantify torture. I can't do it. I can't tell you what my being tortured is worth. It's definitely a high amount. Um, the Lord rebukes thee. The Lord rebukes thee. The Lord rebukes thee. Do you understand those words? Do you know what those words mean? That's what Archangel Michael said to Lucifer before he cast him down out of the heavens. He said, "The Lord rebukes thee." I say the Lord rebukes thee. And in this case, we could be metaphorical and say the Lord indicates what ethics. I think that's a fair assessment. Uh, uh, and uh, and law, rule of law. And part of me is angry, uh, but I'm not gonna do to you what you did to me, to any of you. I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not going to assail you. I mean, in a libelous or slanderous or defamatory fashion. I'm, I mean, the lies, the amount of lies that Mr. Thompson has told is just they literally you could build a tower of Babylon with the amount of lies that this person tells in every single fucking conversation. He has no context of the truth. He's delusional, I guess. He has no concept of what is real and what is not. Except I think he does. I think he actually does, and that's what makes him even more disgusting. Is that he actually does know what he's doing, and he likes it. He likes it. He wants it. He wants people to suffer. He does. It seems fairly indicated by his novel. And yes, my boyfriend did write American Psycho. But in American Psycho, as I've said this before, there's 8 pages of violence, which was intentional, meant to jar the reader, but it wasn't the whole point of the book. The point of this book that I've read is torture, is just torture porn. It's like but not even hostile torture porn because there's not really an aesthetic beyond the torture porn. And there's one image that I want to know where this came from. And I'm going to show this image. I'm not going to show Moses, a citizen of United Kingdom who's easily extraditable to the United States, who will be. I, I'm gonna swear to God, Ian Bolton, you're fucking gonna be extradited. You're gonna be found to be a part of this ring. And I don't care if you're a fucking scientist. I don't care if you made a vaccine or anything. You're a sick fucking asshole. And you've done some really reprehensible things. And you also violated my copyright too. Pretty duly. Uh, Here's the picture. This is the picture. Does this look like a drawing to you, or does it look like an actual picture? Now, I don't know what it is. To me, it looks like a picture. David Bucky, I mean, I believe you might be a resident of the UK. You might not. You are also now a co-conspirator. You all are going to be punished. I will make sure of it. I mean, provided that the law agrees with me, I can't control the outside forces, and I can't control a judge's brain. So you might, I mean, maybe you think you'll skirt by on that. Maybe you do. Maybe you will. I don't think you will. I think that it will be blatantly obvious, and I think the judges offering me the 30-day stay to refile in state court should be a real bad sign to you. A real bad sign. And I think the fact that you deleted that Odyssey account suggests that you are now aware of what kind of trouble you're in. Because why would you have deleted it if nothing's going to happen to you? If it's all good in the hood, then why not leave it up? Because it's infringement, uh, among other things. I don't care how fucking drunk or sick or lawsuits are not fun. I've been in a chronic state of worry and anxiety since I started the lawsuit. did not want to have to do that to go through this process, but I'm going through it. I'm not, turning around, and it's becoming more solidified and congealed and obvious what's happened. And you know, you're gonna be done soon. It's gonna be. It's not gonna go on forever. You can't. You're gonna be rebuked. The Lord rebukes thee. The Lord rebukes thee. But what does that mean? It's like a metaphor. The ethics rebukes what you're doing. Any ethical conduct, any sense of common decency rebukes what you're doing. You sick fuck. How much torture? Connor Tucker, the counsel for YouTube, how much torture do I have to suffer before YouTube, your client, acknowledges any of my suffering? Like how much? How much? What's the standard, Connor? You should be held liable. You should be found. You should be disbarred. You should be disbarred. What are you doing? You should be disbarred. You should be disbarred, and you should be exiled from the legal community. Period. You should not be a lawyer. You have no sense of justice. You're defending what you're doing is I don't know how you're advising the client, or if the client is telling you what to do. Um, Either way, it should be fairly clear that what I've submitted to you is violations of YouTube's policies, and yet you submit them as an exhibit. I mean, the more suffering I go through, the greater the justice that will have to prevail. It will prevail. It will. So have fun doing your whole fucking thing now. I mean, have fun. I mean, I wish you would stop. I really wish you would stop, but it's going to come crumbling down, and anybody affiliated with it is going to be associated with it and will be probably sued at some point by somebody. And Carrie, you're not a bored housewife. You're a fucking vindictive, evil person to me, in my own opinion. I mean, I don't understand how you could sit here and watch this and not have any sense that this is inflicting emotional distress intentionally, which is another way of saying IED, which is another way of saying intentional infliction of emotional distress. Now, I know some of you think that that's legal. It's not. It's actually a tort. It's a civil tort. A civil tort. And Kalendal, don't argue on behalf of the devil. Like, like I would just say, like, it's up to you. I mean, you've always done your own thing, but come on, it's not like we're talking about even parties here. We're not having an even discussion. Okay, this is like one side is a psychopath, a violent psychopath, and then one side is earnest and trying to resolve an issue, and a violent psychopath typically doesn't want to resolve the issue. I don't know why I'm so compelled, like I've been abused. My parents kind of abused me as a child. I was abused by the other kids at school. This though, like, really has stirred my soul and pulled me to action and said, this has to happen. Um, and I think it's really the suffering that's being created. It just can't go on. Can't go on. Also, like, nothing. There's not really much more. There's really nothing more to say. That's it. That's it. Uh, I hate that my live stream has been basically taken away from me because of this. YouTube kind of made a promise, and then they kind of broke the promise, and here we are. I'm In order to live stream, I have to address and sue people just to get through it, and to maybe reestablish my own channel, and where it's not chronic abuse. And I haven't experienced that on any other channel, especially with the aliases. So YouTube has a specifically, I would say, satanic or evil. Hail Satan! Hail Satan! Hail Satan! Hail Satan! Hail Satan! Right? Right? No, not no, no. I mean, if it was the thing is, most people think that this is some sort of like joke. They think it's a joke. The truth of I mean, the behavior that's occurring in conjunction. I'm never gonna like turn and do what you did to me to you. I'm never gonna do that. I'm never gonna lie about you. I'm never gonna slander you. I'm never gonna make a channel about you. Um, my This is about me. I mean, this is about me. This issue is about me. I'm never going to do that to you. Um, it's just very acutely painful to see what's happening, and I think a jury would. I mean, what happened to you guys? I'm not looking at. I don't even know who's on the live chat. I'm not even looking at it because can't. I can't. I don't want to expose myself to more of that. Uh, what happened to you? What happened to you? Why are you like this? I mean, is this really the path you want to be on? Is this path of ridiculing people who are suffering? I mean, ridiculing. I'm not. There's no just reason for this group of people to be going after Shani and Rev. There's no just reason for it. There's lies and defamation. I mean, I assume most of what's said is lies. Even if it's not, there's really no reason for it. It's other than to gain money. It's for money. That's and Hollywood Laughingstock was also meant to what one hurt me, but two build an build a business. How much money did you make off of the Hollywood Laughingstock channel? How many viewers did that send your way? How many donations did you get during when you were talking about me? How many? What's the total? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the numbers. I can tell you that my business was going well when I didn't know about the Hollywood Laughingstock channel. It started in about March, late March, I think, of 2021, and then it abruptly concludes on in August after a severe bout of um, I think I noticed in like late March or no, maybe it was April. I felt like it was about 2 months. It could have been a month and a half after the the inciting event, as it were, that I noticed that there was a channel. I didn't even know. I didn't realize people were coming in. I didn't even know there was this whole thing. Even though I stood up for Justin, I did not grasp what he was going through. Sucks so bad to have to fucking do this. It really is so depressing because I have to. I don't have a choice. I can't ignore this. I can't. I can't ignore it. It has to be dealt with. YouTube has to be dealt with too. If I were Michael Thompson, I'd sue YouTube and say, "You told me this was okay. It was your job to tell me not to harass people." God, you're all about. I mean, it's a bunch of nonsense, to be quite honest. You know, it's like it's not like any of you are making intelligent arguments or like actual arguments against any of the people that you go after. It's just your anger and your disgusting psychopathic rage, which is well detailed in your novel. I read it in one day, by the way. You know, Michael, it's not the worst book I've ever read. It has some movement. It has some pacing that, you know, but it's obviously the work of someone who's a violent psychopath like you. I'm alleging. In my opinion, you seem like a violent psychopath. And there's you know, what you're doing is violence on the internet. And you're going to go down. It's going to happen. You're going to lose. You're going to lose stuff. You and the thing is you never gained anything at all. You know, nothing you have is worth what's about to be taken from you. The judge would not have put down a 30-day stay for me to refile in state court if there were no non-futile allegations. It's just he probably wouldn't have done so. You know, he probably would have said, "I'm dismissing without prejudice," and because which is like a copyright thing probably has to do. But he wouldn't have given a 30-day stay to refile and continue the action, which I'm doing, which is happening. Um, I want it to stop now. I do. I don't know if I can get it to. It's gonna take some time. You're gonna go down for domestic terrorism. You're all gonna go down for domestic terrorism. I'm gonna assert that because that's what you're doing. It's what you're doing. The harm that you've caused with your speech is great, and your copyright infringement too. Yeah, I don't think in so it says the definition of unprotected fighting words turns on how the ordinary citizen would react to these personally abusive epithets. I don't think anything I said in the February 28th thing, I don't think the reaction is how any ordinary person would ever react. Ever. And an ordinary person at most would make one video saying, fuck you. Like, I don't like fuck you back. Uh not what has happened. What man of common intelligence would understand would be words likely to cause an average addressee to fight. They're talking about a physical fight here. They're not talking about this. They're not talking about cyber stalking campaigns, okay? Obscenity. Wait till you get that. Wait till you're like gonna be like a 2023 obscenity. You're gonna be like the first person to be when's the last time obscenity has been proven? What defendants knew or should have known about the speech's properties and not on their intention for speaking. Mr. Thompson knew that his speech was uh torturing, harm, torture, that it was torture. He knows this. He knows this. Zamoses, you know this. All of you know this. I've told you. I've told you repeatedly. You all know this. There's no reasonable way that you wouldn't know this. I You also make lie after lie. Like the ones the people that follow this this person's lying to you. You understand that he's telling lie after lie after lie after lie after lie after lie, and that nothing he says is true because he does no well he has no common sense. He gave it away. Actual malice requires knowledge of a statement's falsity or reckless disregard. I would argue both of those are probably applicable to a lot of your statements. A reckless disregard for truth. That would be illegal. The content of speech should matter. Speaker's purpose should not. I just, I hope you know that you've picked a fight with somebody who's going to do what is legally available to him to do and who has the means to do so. I'm not disenfranchised. I don't really have like any mental illness that prevents me from understanding reality. Uh, you're going you're you picked the wrong person. I mean, you should never have done it to Justin, and I pray Justin gets. I pray for Justin, and who said we will eat your flesh? Like, who wrote that in the live chat about 2 years ago? Who wrote that line? Who wrote that? I have it documented. This is gonna be a big, big surprise. Motive is entirely irrelevant. So anyone who wants to say, "You said do your worst, Omni," well, guess what it says in the Supreme Court ruling? It says content of speech should matter. The speaker's purpose should not. Motive is entirely first it is entirely irrelevant to the First Amendment value of threats, which is minimal, as well as to the harm caused by threats, which is substantial. True. I'm gonna take it. This is going to be concluded, and I'm gonna make sure it happens fast. Sucks. On. Are you kidding? Judy Garland's "Get Happy" is not. You can't play that. It's still copywritten. Give me a break. It's been like how many years? It's. I think we're at 72. No, we're more past that. No, we're. I guess 19 in the 50s it came out. 1950, 70. Can't play that without fucking copyright strikes. Come on. Is there any good public domain songs or no? Is it all just shit?